With episodes 6 and 7 wrapping up 2025, we're now stuck waiting for episode 8 to drop in 2026. It promises to set the stage for the grand finale of the most successful web series of all time, at least as far as I can remember. And while the leaks haven't been as plentiful as we'd like, mostly just blurry frames or random statements, we still have plenty of juicy details revealing where episode 8 is headed. According to Gooseworx, it's something almost no one sees coming. We might be looking at a character abstraction, yeah, I'm looking at you, Jax, plus the backstory and the truth about what the hell of a digital circus actually is, all while Caine descends into total madness. So let's get right into it with these 30 leaks and teasers for Digital Circus episode 8. Number 1. The most important detail about episode 8 is that it will be the first and only one in the entire series to be split into 2 parts. That's right. The show's creator initially confirmed the series would only last 8 episodes and 1 season, but after preparing the scripts, he extended the run from 8 to 9 episodes. The reason wasn't to add filler or drag out the plot for another episode, but rather that episode 7 was so long she had to split it in 2. This tells us a lot. The next chapter won't take place after some random Caine adventure where we watch the characters suffer yet again. Instead, it will pick up immediately after the events of episode 7. Number 2. Let's remember that episode 7 was the one that crushed everyone's hope for an exit. Even for the fans who had been following the Abel plotline, noticing his presence spying on the Groog in previous episodes. The ending was a hard cut, with everyone in Caine's office overflowing with helplessness and rage upon discovering that most of the data he had spouted was false. Kinger concluded that Caine's major modifications were what caused the circus's very first abstraction, Scratch. Therefore, it's almost certain that episode 8 will start right after the scene, with Caine leaving the group alone to avoid further questions, and the gang of humans broken inside upon discovering they don't even have control over their own minds. Number 3. Caine's mind keeps deteriorating with every episode, something the human group took advantage of for the first time in episode 7. Some theorize that by creating an AI as complex as Abel, Caine was running out of resources, and now that he has eliminated him, some stability will return to him. However, the logic errors we've seen affecting the entire circus might become the only way to get Caine to stop his constant surveillance for a few minutes, giving them time to agree on a plan without him noticing. Number 4. But the most talked about theory following episode 7 is that Jax will finally abstract. Episode 7 showed us how this transformation begins. His old friend's hand grabs him and he is transported to a surreal landscape full of fractal shapes. Outside his mind, his eyes begin to take on a shape very similar to the eyes covering the bodies of the abstracted. Jax made it clear when choosing to continue with the simulation that he has no one outside the circus, but following his decision, whatever little empathy his companions had left for him may have vanished. The only path left for him is to follow in his colleagues' footsteps and abstract. Number 5. Ribbit's role is just getting started. In episode 7, we got a brief glimpse of this character, but it was enough to cast Sky Redden to bring him to life, leading many to speculate that his appearance in the circus is just beginning, with theories about possible flashback scenes where we'll see fragments of his adventures. Even when they are in Caine's office and can see all the worlds he has created, Jax stops in front of one we've never seen before, a wooden house in the middle of the snow. Many speculate that this adventure was when Ribbit lost control and abstracted, so perhaps Jax will finally open up and talk about the pain that moment caused him. Number 6. Although, knowing Gooseworx's twisted mind, it's almost a guarantee that this episode's plot is going to blow our minds. Even the production team was surprised when reading what she had prepared for this episode. In a post, she said, "Judging by the reaction to the table read of episode 8, it might be a pretty okay episode," accompanied by a couple of sketches of Caine reading and then staring blankly ahead, in shock at what those pages said. So don't be surprised if we're all left looking like that after this. Number 7. Unlike the early episodes of the series, the creator has been much more tight-lipped with information regarding these final chapters, keeping what's to come a huge secret. One of the few things she has confirmed is that, like every episode after the 5th, it will be over 30 minutes long, so the plot that kicked off with the beach episode is just getting started. And there's a lot left to see thanks to all the feelings Caine has stirred up in his digital captives. Number 8. Fortunately, and true to tradition, the creator has given us a couple of random lines from the 8th episode script. One of them is "zippity bop." Most speculate this is a catchphrase Caine will say. Some believe it'll be while teleporting the group, a sort of panic mode zip it. out of fear of being judged as a bad adventure creator. Others attributed to Kinger or some crazy NPC, but Caine is the fan favorite for this one. Number 9. Another random line from episode 8 that the creator teased was, "It's you." Fans have had a harder time agreeing on who this belongs to. Some believe it will happen when someone's identity is revealed, with one of the circus members recognizing a specific character who has abstracted, as if Jax recognized Ribbit or Kaufmo in one of them. Others speculate it could be a human discovering a major secret, like Caine's involvement in the abstractions. Number 10. This episode follows the plot of the previous one directly, but don't think it will be a stretched out story just to fit everything that's happening. We might be looking at the best episode of the series. The creator even confirmed that her favorite episode is a toss-up between 8 and 4. And while the Spudsies episode was good, the fact that she used to work at a McDonald's and felt nostalgic remembering her fast food days might have influenced that preference. So the quality of episode 8's plot will undoubtedly be worth the wait. Number 11. The peculiarities of this episode don't end there. It's the only one whose release date has been announced months in advance. In the final Glitch Direct of 2025, the bosses and founders of Glitch Productions announced the date for episode 8, March 20, 2026. So even though there are a few months to go, everything is set to see how the plot advances to this point. Number 12. We need to make something clear. Despite the series' fame, Glitch has stated they respect the original creator's vision and aren't going to change the plot, drag out the series, or alter it due to fan theories, because there's always someone claiming they copied their idea, just for thinking of something similar to the ending. Gooseworx has said, "Given how every episode so far has been careful, explicit setup for the last few, I'd be foolish to change course," making it clear that everything we see is a snowball effect that has been accumulating with each episode, and the ending will fit perfectly with everything seen since the pilot. Number 13. Besides the clues the episodes left about Abel's existence, one of the biggest seeds planted in every episode is Caine's obsession with the outside world, which he calls the macroverse. He told Jax about his obsession with this peculiar plane, which he only knows through some photos of the CNA offices, confirming that Caine has no eyes outside the simulation and everything he wasn't programmed with is a mystery to him. His obsession with this place may bear fruit in the upcoming episodes. Number 14. But the most complex leak for episode 8 was revealed during the Glitch Direct of 2025. In it, we got one of the most cryptic teasers of the entire series. In just 2 seconds, we saw a series of blurry previews that leave us with more questions than answers. The first frame shows an image that seems to focus mainly on Zubul, as if they were falling or moving very violently. And right next to them is a figure with Jack's characteristic hue. Perhaps a fight between the two is finally happening. Curiously, we see a pair of mannequins superimposed, as if they were hanging from the ceiling. Number 15. The next frame shows an equally blurry image, set inside the tent, and it seems most of the teasers take place here. You can make out Pomni, Ragatha, and Gangle. The latter seems to be bringing her hands to her face, as if something happening is affecting her deeply, perhaps witnessing Jax and Zubul fighting. Number 16. Next, we have another very blurry frame. The distinguishable figures are Ragatha, Pomni, some sort of yellow character, and who appears to be Zubul. Some speculate it could be a new character or the return of a past character like Bazubul, who seems to have a very similar pose. Number 17. Another frame shows Jax and Pomni. Between them, Caine seems to be screaming right in their faces, pushing Jax away. He might be trying to apologize after his strange adventure in his own peculiar way of expressing himself. Or maybe the rabbit is pushing him to the limit by no longer caring about Caine's integrity or what he wants to do. Number 18. The next one features Zubul and a green figure to the side. It might be Ribbit, but it looks like the shape of a mannequin being carried by Jax, so maybe it's an NPC created by Caine with the purpose of helping him cope with his loss, giving him a spare Ribbit to try and fill the void his loss created. Number 19. Then we have an overhead shot of Caine from above, looking down at Ragatha, Kinger, and Pomni, although it seems Pomni is being brought up to Caine, who is shouting very close to her. Some believe this behavior from Caine is because none of them want to continue with his adventures and are starting to ignore him. Number 20. Next, Ragatha and Kinger are shown looking at something on the ground covered by overlay text. Curiously, there seemed to be two mannequin NPCs superimposed on the image, as if they were hanging from the ceiling, perhaps coming down into the tent on Caine's orders, or because whatever is happening in the tent is causing errors for him, and even the NPCs are starting to act on their own. Number 21. This penultimate frame shows Caine speaking in front of another character who is hard to distinguish due to their irregular shape. Many believe it is Zubul, although others theorize that we are looking at a character abstracting right in front of Caine. Some parts even seem to match Jack's. Curiously, behind this figure, we see Pomni and Kinger hunched over. Number 22. The final blurry frame shows Pomni and Jax in freefall, as if someone or something had thrown them. What's peculiar is that the color of their clothes seems different from the original. Some believe this is because the evil tops, the evil versions we saw in episode 5, will be brought into the tent somehow. Number 23. To wrap things up, they left a couple of images that seem to be set outside the simulation. A small dining area with very common items, a laptop, a pet bed, various pieces of furniture, and even a painting of a street. It ends with a reverse sequence of a person falling down a slide, creating the effect of being sucked into it while a scream is heard. It's worth noting that after the controversy with episode 7, where fans leaked the location of the real-life images Jax observes, it seems Glitch will stop adding them to avoid the intensity of some fans. But rather than scenes we'll witness in the episode, this seems to be an analogy for what we'll witness. A glimpse outside the simulation, but with the characters being sucked back into the digital circus, confirming their inability to leave the digital world. Number 24. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but Gooseworx with barely 15 words sparked the creation of countless images. She simply said, a pathetic, frail Jax on a beach covered in oil from a nearby oil spill. This provoked a huge amount of fan art recreating the scene, but many think these weren't just a couple of random lines dropped on a random August 19th, but rather a teaser of what will happen to Jax. Curiously, the beach episode seemed perfect for such a scene, but we saw nothing of the sort. Since episode 8 is a continuation of 7, we might see Jax return to the beach, ending up in this peculiar state. Number 25. Another way to get an idea of what awaits us in episode 8 is through an old post by Gooseworx, where she summarized every episode with a single word. Episode 7 was a fitting perfectly with a plot that seemed to give the circus humans a common goal, only to end in disappointment, leaving more questions than answers. Meanwhile, episode 8 is defined as O. Some theorize this represents a moment of revelation. Someone in the circus realizes something special about how the circus works, leading to a twist that will leave everyone jaw-dropped. Although, with Gooseworx, you never know. Number 26. If Ribbit appears in episode 8, many are hoping Kaufmo does the same, because thanks to the photo of Jax with them in episode 7, it's clear they spent a lot of time together. So if the theory that we'll see Ribbit in a flashback is true, we might see Kaufmo appear in his normal form, following his debut in the first episode as an abstraction. Interestingly, Gooseworx had said she wanted Kaufmo to be played by Jack Black, something we see as very unlikely, though she also said she gave the role to Wizard's Wiz, her good friend who voiced Ghostly in episode 3, but noted his performance was rejected for being too offensive. So it remains a mystery who will play him, but many of us would like to see him in his glory days at the circus, alongside Jax and Ribbit. Number 27. And speaking of Kaufmo, we obviously can't overlook Scratch, the first abstraction. Some might want to know what Kinger meant when he said Caine caused it, and we may get a brief flashback telling the story of Scratch and how she ended up provoking Caine into making a major change to her mind, generating the first abstraction. Number 28. One of the scenes that got people talking the most in episode 7 was the strange sequence with the crappy looking fish. Two fish that serve as comic relief and show us how ambitious Pomni can be, forgetting to help her friends for money that doesn't seem to work for anything inside the circus. But some believe this scene references a situation unfolding within the circus. The crappy looking fish seem to perfectly represent Caine and Bubble. One prepares an adventure to hide his hidden treasure, while the other reveals the clues, acting in a more carefree manner like Bubble. The empty treasure is a way of representing that the only way to escape the circus disappeared from Caine's control long ago, and he doesn't have access to that exit he has been guarding for so long. Number 29. Since the very first episode, we were introduced to the exit door, a room that appeared suddenly and vanished instantly. We know Pomni enters one in the pilot, but it ends up being an unfinished project of Caine's trying to recreate the Macroverse, the world outside the simulation. However, many notice that the door Pomni enters is a different shade from the one she sees appear while Caine shows her the circus grounds. Number 30. The true exit could be this peculiar orange door, hidden like a treasure by Caine to prevent anyone from leaving. In episode 8, they might find it again, giving the group one last purpose to try to escape. But let us know what you think in the comments. Is there a teaser we missed? Do you think the series will follow a logical sequence? Or is the creator setting everything up for a twist nobody ever expected? What do you think will happen in episode 8 to surprise even the production team bringing the show to life?